Brilliant. Right, I'm here with Stephen. We are sitting... Steve?
Steve, only Stephen when I was naughty.
Oh, well. You're not in trouble yet. We ain't finished it.
Yeah.
We're looking out at Blackburn Rovers Football pitch, which is always rather cool, at Star Wars Fan Fun Day. How's the day been for you so far?
Excellent. And, I haven't done this thing. I've done 2 in the last 18 years.
All right.
So it's great to come along. I'm really thrilled that it's for a charity as well, that the proceeds go towards that. So I think it was a really worthwhile cause. And what I love about it, having not done many of them, I got to say, is that you forget there's a real warmth in the world of Star Wars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that the people come up and they've got stories to tell about it, and they'll ask me stories about it, and now they'll tell me things I didn't know about it. I mean, for me, it was a film I shot 25 years ago, and yet there's something very special about the fact that it's still, very pertinent to a lot of people and part of their lives and part of their growing up, I suppose, or not growing up.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a bit more of that than the other, but I mean, you're a busy actor. You're on telly all the time. You're seeing a lot. So is that the reason why you've never really had a chance to get to these events?
Yeah, I sort of, yes, there's always been work coincided with it and things like that. I was just over in Germany at the beginning of the year. I was doing a tour over there about the music of Hans Zimmer, with a big orchestra, and he had done, I was in a couple of movies that he'd composed, Pirates of the Caribbean and a film called The Musketeer, and it was only when I was there doing it, and they were putting up things on the screen of some of my work and that I realised that it was 25 years since I'd shot Captain Tarpals. He hasn't changed at all, but I certainly have. Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
So when the role came to you, because it was yourself and Lewis McLeod and Andy Seacombe, a lot of guys who were known but were putting their voices to the characters. What was the process like for you? Were you directed by George?
Well, what had happened was I was at the National Theatre doing Guys and Dolls, and he was over in New He'd come to see it one evening, and I had laryngitis, and I was sort of speaking like that, and he said, "Oh, I really like that bloke's voice," so bring him in. So I went in to test for it and put down. I started speaking, and he said, "No, what are you doing the And I said, "Well, I had laryngitis." And he said, "Well, do it like you got laryngitis." So that's why he says things like, "You should have big doo-doo, Jaja," because it was right at the back of my throat when I did it. So that's the way it. But I remember going to a number of years after that. I went to a convention in Germany, and some bloke asked the same thing, saying, "How did you get the job?" And I went into this long story. I was at the National Theatre, George Lucas let my voice, and I could hear myself. I was thinking, "Oh Christ, you've been such a bloody actor, Steve. For Christ's sake." It was appalling, my life at art. I was at the National Theatre, George Lucas liked to sound before, and next to me was Mike Edmonds, little Mike, who was the tail of Jabba the Hutt. And they gave him the microphone next. He said, "How did you get the job?" And Mike said, "George said, can you fit in there?" Which sort of brought me back to earth with the reality.
That's a very Mike Edmonds answer, though.
Yeah, perfect.
So, I mean, here we are, as we said, we're 25 years on.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable.
Yes.
And you're back talking about it and being out there. The film's back in the cinemas this weekend.
Yeah, somebody was just coming up and saying this out. They saw it yesterday. So I'd like to think it still stands up, and they said it does. I think it's a good piece of storytelling, and beautifully shot and all the rest of it. It looks great. So yeah.
And you're obviously pleased that you're a part of it.
Yeah. It's a fantastic world to be part of. And I think that. You do sort of lots of things in your career. I mean, I've done so much comedy on TV and that, stuff that I've either been in with people like, I worked a lot with like Ricky and David Williams and Gervais and things, I've written my own stuff that's on TV and that. But there's something about every job you do that sort of comes and goes, and there's something very transient about it, and that's part of the nature of being an actor. But the one thing about Star Wars is it stays. It doesn't come and go. It just stays because it's such a big part of people's lives. I think. Yeah.
And now you've done this event, you think you might fancy doing a few more over
the years?
No,
fuck that. That's enough for me.
I can't stop that.
That's a way to end the interview.
Totally is. Thanks for your time, mate.
You're welcome.